We're talking about 50 Cent going on Instagram to respond after an alleged leaked video surfaced online involving Daphne Joy, the mother of his son Sire, and Sean Diddy Combs, who's currently sitting in federal prison. 50 posted up, sent a message, and the internet went insane. But here's the thing. 50's message wasn't what most people expected, and that is what we need to actually break down today. So let's get into it. Stay locked in. This is Backdoor Hip Hop. All right, for anyone who needs the full picture before we get into 50's response, here's where everything stands right now. Diddy, Sean Combs, was convicted in July 2025 on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. He got 4 years and 2 months in federal prison and is currently locked up at Federal Correctional Institution Fort Dix in New Jersey. His legal team has been fighting that sentence, calling it draconian, and on April 9, 2026, a federal appeals court heard arguments on whether to reduce it. Prosecutors, for their part, say the sentence is actually below federal guidelines, so that fight is still ongoing. It could be months before there's a ruling. Now, Daphne Joy, her real name is Daphne Cervantes, is a model and social media personality who shares a son, Sire Jackson, with 50 Cent. She was also named in Diddy's trial proceedings, with allegations that she was involved in his circle. Sire is currently a teenager in middle school, which becomes important in a minute when we get to what 50 actually said. And 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, is of course the executive producer of the Netflix documentary Sean Combs' The Reckoning, has been publicly feuding with Diddy for over 20 years and has made it his personal mission to make sure the world knows everything that allegedly went on in Diddy's world. That's just setup. Now, let's get into this weekend. So, over the weekend of May 31st, 2026, footage surfaced and spread across social media fast, and I mean fast. Within hours, it was the #1 trending topic on multiple platforms. Now, I want to be real with y'all about something before we go further. The authenticity of this footage has not been independently verified by official sources. DJ Vlad has gone on record saying he believes it's authentic, and there are claims connected to adult film performer Sly Diggler, who previously appeared on Vlad TV and made specific allegations about encounters he claims involved himself, Daphne Joy, and Diddy. He also claimed at the time that Diddy allegedly orchestrated these situations as a way to get at 50. That's the context that was already out there before this weekend. What happened Sunday is that 50 caught wind of all this trending and went straight to Instagram. No silence, no waiting. 50 Cent does not do quiet. He dropped 2 posts, and what he said, especially the first one, is what sparked the real conversation. So, 50's first post directly referenced Daphne Joy and said, and I'm quoting directly, "She's not a victim, Sire is. Can you imagine going to 8th grade to find out this is your mom? The court system in LA thinks it's fine." That hit different, because 50 didn't go where most people expected. He didn't come out defending Daphne Joy. He didn't express personal hurt. He went straight to his son. He made this about Sire, a minor, a child, a kid going to middle school, and the impact that this kind of public exposure has on him. And he didn't stop there. He added a shot about the LA court system and their custody arrangement. This is actually part of a longer legal battle 50 had around Sire's custody and what he views as the court's failure to protect his son from this environment. His second post took a different direction. He went back to mocking Diddy, writing, "Free Diddy, he has gone through enough." Classic 50. Even in a serious moment, he still gets the troll off. But strip away the trolling for a second and look at what 50's really saying. His core argument is that his son is the innocent party in all of this, caught in the middle of a world he didn't choose and is now old enough to encounter this content online just like everyone else. That's a father talking, not just a rapper beefing. Now, Daphne Joy did come out and release a statement, and I want to give that as fair coverage, because in fairness, her voice deserves to be heard in this conversation too. She said, and I'm paraphrasing the key points, she wanted to be someone who made her partner happy, even when it meant going beyond her own comfort. She described being deeply in love and believing that love was mutual, and she says that with time and reflection, she came to realize the relationship was far from what she thought it was. On the tape itself, she says she never consented to being filmed. She claims she was later blackmailed by someone threatening to release the footage unless she paid a large sum of money. She says she almost gave in, but when she didn't, the footage was sold to a media outlet. She says that outlet actually backed off after realizing the circumstances around how it was obtained, and her having to revisit this footage recently has been deeply triggering and painful. Now, look, I'm going to give that the same honest treatment I give everything on this channel. Her statement raises real questions. The non-consent angle and the blackmail claim are serious, but there are also people in the comments and the culture who are pointing to the timeline. She remained in Diddy's orbit for years up until the legal situation caught up with him, and that context is part of the conversation too. The truth is probably complicated. Most situations are. What I'm not going to do is pretend there's only one way to look at it. And what I'm also not going to do is lose sight of the fact that there is a child involved who had zero say in any of this. Here's where I want to go deeper, because I think the surface reaction on social media is missing a few real points. Point 1, the child in the middle. Sire Jackson is a real person. He's not a punchline. He's a teenager. And regardless of how you feel about 50, about Daphne Joy, about Diddy, that kid is the one who has to grow up in the aftermath of all of this being public. 50's message about Sire being the real victim, that part is hard to argue with. Point 2, the pattern. The allegations around Diddy's behavior, specifically the claim that he used people in his circle as pawns in personal feuds, keeps coming up from multiple sources in multiple directions. The freak-off allegations from the trial, the claims that these situations were used as leverage or retaliation, these aren't new. What's new is the public is now seeing it play out in real time through social media. Point 3, the sentencing fight. While all this is trending, Diddy's legal team is in a federal appeals court arguing his 4-year sentence was too harsh. His defense is saying the judge factored in charges he was acquitted of. The prosecution says his sentence is already below guidelines. That decision is coming, and depending on how it goes, Diddy could be looking at an earlier release than his scheduled April 2028 date. The timing of this leak with everything happening in court is something people in the culture are definitely clocking. Point 4, 50's consistency. Say what you want about 50 Cent, and people say a lot, but he's been saying publicly for years that there was darkness behind Diddy's empire. He started talking about it before the Cassie lawsuit. He produced the Netflix documentary. He's been relentless. At some point, you have to acknowledge that while his delivery is always going to be 50 Cent, petty, aggressive, troll-heavy, the substance of what he's been pointing at has continuously been validated by real events. So, where does this all land? 50 Cent is not going to stop. Diddy is sitting in prison fighting his sentence while new content about his alleged behavior keeps surfacing. Daphne Joy is trying to tell her story and reclaim some narrative. And Sire Jackson, a kid who didn't ask for any of this, is at the center of a situation that the adults in his life put him in. The culture is going to keep talking. The courts are still moving, and Backdoor Hip Hop is going to give you the real breakdown every single time something pops off. If you're new here, subscribe right now. Hit that like button if this gave you something to think about. Drop your take in the comments. Do you think 50's message was about his son or about the beef? Where do you land on Daphne Joy's statement? Let's talk about it. This is Backdoor Hip Hop. We don't do fake, we don't do cap. We keep it all the way real every time. We'll see you on the next one. Stay locked in.